Meditation is about coming back to our true nature beyond the way we perceive ourselves to be, that is away from our roles and responsibilities. So to return to our true nature, it means to drop everything that we're holding on to, even the identity view. It is to learn to drop it. And sometimes even you sitting as a meditator, because as a meditator, we might have goals, we might have expectations. And these hopes, there's also the fear of not achieving, the fear of not doing things right, especially in regards to our spiritual practice. And those are all the workings of the ego. So meditation is simply to learn to keep dropping all these things, all these concepts that we have, the identities that we play, and to strip all of these things away. And then you can re-establish yourself, to recenter yourself. Whether you use a breath or use a mantra, use a mudra or visualization, it all leads us to the same place. Because that is the only true home that you can be in the here and now. Because if you think about it, when you go to sleep, who is the one that is really going to bed? Is it the worker, the boss, the teammate, the friend, the stranger, the enemy? Is it the partner, the child, the parent that is going to bed? And you can't pinpoint who is really going to bed. You just know I am going to bed. And perhaps you might have an identity based on what you were thinking at that point of time, what is warping around your mind. And then when you go to bed, who is the one dreaming? So the practice of non-self is to allow ourselves to just keep dropping these things away. And when you come to meditation, it's Wednesday, it is a midweek reset. You have your responsibilities that you play in the past few days and also from tomorrow onwards. So the midweek reset is to allow you this opportunity to come back to your true home, to here and now, deep within yourself, away from all the roles that you play, all the identity views. Every role that we play, every identity that we have, every persona that we have, there's desires, there's attachments, there's expectations. But deep down, there's nothing to hold on to. And for some people who are new, when they realize there's nothing to hold on to, there might be fear. Like, then what am I here for? What am I here to do? Well, there's only one thing you need to know. You're not here to suffer. Right? We're born into the human life, not for us to suffer. Because at the end of the day, who's the one causing us misery? Other than the terms and conditions that we have. You step into a new job, you work with someone new. Very subconsciously, you go in with a lot of terms and conditions of how things should be, how things should be like. And a lot of them is coming from our ego, the self-view, that how it can serve me. Not so much about what can I contribute. And even when you think about contributing, you might think about having reciprocation because it is justifiable. So we go into life, into every role that we play, even relationships, with a set list of terms and conditions. And those are the things that actually make us miserable. We're not in touch with the nature of reality. So sitting here in meditation, some of you have shared that you like the energy of the group. That is very good. But at the same time, you need to know that you're also part of the group. So it's not so much about what you can receive from being in this circle. It's about what you can give. And just by being here, whether physically or online, you're already giving your presence. You're giving your presence to the group. That's how the group dynamics come into play. So regardless of what the meditation topic, what the guidance is going to be like, you're sitting here as a community, what we call a sangha, sitting together. You're part of that sangha, and that is your contribution. When you think about giving and think less about receiving or attainment, then life becomes easier. You're just offering your presence just like everyone else. Nowadays, the world is in a lot of disaster, a lot of problems, politics, because everyone is just thinking about themselves. How can this serve me? How can you serve me? If you learn how to remove these ideas, these terms and conditions, then there's no more misery. You're back to yourself. You're not caught up in the actions and the behaviors of others. You're not caught up with the changing weathers, the storms. Because you know that external factors don't determine your well-being anymore. You're not allowing external factors to affect you, to cause misery, or to allow misery to creep into you. Because all these things are happening outside. So if you can remember this very clearly in whatever you do, and then you practice this in meditation, it's about me giving presence to the Sangha, me giving presence to the cushion I'm sitting on, me giving presence to my breath, to my feelings, to my emotions, to my mind that sometimes like to think or wonder or to drift into sleep. You see, there's no more set conditions. It's about you just offering your presence. And that's about all. We're not here to change anything about our experience. We're here to cultivate. And to cultivate what? Cultivate stillness. Cultivate peace. And what is peace if there's no chaos? And what is stillness if there's no movement? Stillness cannot exist without movement, vice versa. So it's not about sitting here wishing to bliss out or to attain silence of mind or to attain stillness, but we're constantly cultivating, putting the right kind of action, mental action, just establishing the action and try to sustain it. That I'm giving my presence. I'm going to be still over here amidst the movements of my mind. I'm going to generate peace by letting go. I'm going to cultivate calm by accepting things as they are, by not reacting. I'm going to cultivate tranquility by removing all my viewpoints, perceptions. And then there you go, the tranquility. It is right there. And therefore, when we cultivate, in Chinese we say 修行, right? We're cultivating the action. So what is that action? Which is what I have already described to you. And meditation, formal meditation practice is where we can constantly remind ourselves to practice it, to exercise it, to rehearse it until it becomes a part of your repertoire. Then when you're faced with undesirable circumstances, you remember how to generate peace, calm, tranquility amidst those chaos. Just like the Buddha, he can remain peaceful, he can remain calm, ardent, and firm despite it all. And therefore, we need to always remind ourselves that this is part of the journey, not just the journey of a cultivator, but the journey as a human being. Because, like I said, you only need to know one thing: you're not here to be miserable, you're not here to suffer. A lot of suffering is self induced because when we don't know how to arrest the mind, then it goes everywhere. And it gets scattered, it gets dispersed, and our energies, we just lose our energy so easily. And we lose our power just like that. Now, of course, outside of meditation, we need to learn how to place our minds on the things that matter, things that can bring you joy, things that are beneficial, things that can make you happy, just like the underwear that you're wearing right now. Because I know some of you are just wearing your PJs, so you don't care so much about it. But you chose this underwear for some reason. And why not the other one? It's meant to bring you joy or comfort or happiness, right? But sitting here, are we feeling comfortable that, hey, I wore the right underpants? And you still picked it. The clothes we wear, the toiletries that you use, the toothpaste, the toothbrush that you use on a daily basis, it's meant to bring us joy because you pick a particular brand, a particular fragrance. Or maybe someone buys it for you, someone stocks it up for you, then you have that, then you're luxurious, you're living like a king or a queen, right? And do you feel like a king or queen? You ought to in that moment, not outside of the moment, okay? Otherwise, a lot of problems will arise in your life. But in that moment, it's like, someone prepared this for me. I can have fresh breath. I can smell good. I can feel fresh. So we need to learn how to direct our minds when we're not in charge of any projects, we're not doing anything serious or important. Instead of allowing the mind to be scattered, we place our attention on the things that matter, which are things that can nourish your happiness, your peace, your gratitude. So that is what you will bring with you into chaos. Because there's bound to be chaos in life. There's bound to be problems in life. There's bound to be drama. There's bound to be politics. The higher you climb, the deeper you go in your career, there's bound to be politics. And I mentioned this before. And thank goodness people stop complaining to me about their jobs. See, if you don't like your job, quit. No one forced you, right? So you see, when we know how to place our attention correctly and nourish our happiness, when you face drama or you encounter drama, you don't want to participate in drama, at least you are bringing this energy with you into it. You're responding and you can stay firm. But what happens when we don't know how to focus our minds? We don't know how to focus our energies. We're just like an empty vessel. Whatever we encounter trips into us, good or bad, we just absorb. There's no control. So that's why when we encounter problems, we encounter drama, people say something like, hey, fuck you. This kind of stuff. You go like, oh, why you insult me? Right? Because what are you bringing? You're bringing nothing. Right? It's not controlled. Your energy, the moment you woke up, it's not being controlled. And therefore, the world is controlling you. Everyone else is controlling you. Then you're very easy to be picked on. So the greatest way of cultivating our energy starts from the morning. About how can we develop some slowing down, some patience to appreciate small little things. And then when you walk out of home, there's more things to appreciate when you have nothing better to do. And so that is what you bring with us. We bring with us, and that's how we can cultivate. Then at the end of the day, you get back home and you meditate. You can look at, I did not get distracted by external circumstances. I did not let external circumstances define me because I know how to come back to myself. And what were you coming back to yourself? And it was what you have determined the first thing when you wake up in the morning. And why do we have to constantly do this? That's why I say it's the the cultivation is that action. You're cultivating the action. Why do we have to do this? Some might think, it can be very tiring. I say, well, because it's impermanent. Even the positive, wholesome energies you're in touch with, it won't last. And that's why we have to keep cultivating it until it becomes your second nature to be positive, to not be afflicted by what goes on outside of you. And then you stop having fear. You stop having fear of the unknown. You stop having fear of what if things don't go your way. You stop thinking about that kind of stuff because you know that you're in charge. You're in charge of how you're going to direct your energies. It's only when we know how to direct our energies in such a way that we will be able to direct our lives. And then we can guide other people around us. Otherwise, as the saying goes, it's the blind leading the blind. So last week, we talked about coming back to our true nature or our awakening nature. So in meditation, the whole point is to be awake and just be awake. Establish into your breath and learn to be awake. Learn to establish peace. Learn to make peace with everything that happens. Don't try to change anything. Don't try to experience anything other than what is happening here and now. That is the experience. God, that is the truth. That is what is really happening here and now. We awaken to that. It may be good, it may be bad, you may feel sleepiness, you may feel discomfort. Awaken to it. Awaken to it and try to generate peace. Learn to be still in it. Learn to be calm in it. Learn to make your mind feel better. All right?